got us another Georgetown in here. All right, let's go take a look at this roof. Gotta walk all the way around. So we're just getting it all staged up now. That's what we're doing. Getting all the scaffold together and getting ready to tear it apart. All right, so our Georgetown. This is an acrylic roof. This is the same exact material they put on pop-up campers. And then what they do is they run this, it's called a termination bar. I think in the RV industry they call it flat trim stock or something, I don't know. But basically what it does is terminate the roof. So hence termination bar. But the problem that I have with it is the water's got to build up before it can come off. We're going to bring the roof in right over, just like that. So, you know, this is your typical put more on type roof. So you can see they already got some caulk in here. You see all the cracking, and you know, there's just obviously something wrong with that system. So, you know, I show folks the difference here. Obviously, y'all make your own decisions, but you know, I show them the difference between what we do and what you're going to get with like a sprayer roll-on. I know that's a big thing now because they're kind of cheap, or they're cheaper than we are for sure. They don't do, if they did all the work we did, like everything we did, they'd actually be a lot more expensive. So I don't know, you can kind of factor that in. But you know, some of the things here that you don't want to do, someone put this, they caulked right in there. I guess that's to make sure you don't, now I'm just concerned why it's caulked like that. Normally you don't caulk the front of the air conditioners. Definitely do not caulk around the covers. Do not do that. Go block, if you do that, the water that gets in there will get down inside there and it can't get out. So then you got an issue. You'll end up having leaks in here. So, like I said, it's the same old type thing. We got to start stripping it off. We got obviously a solar panel there, and another AC up here. It looks like they had a satellite up here, and I got a bat wing antenna. That's what I call them, bat wing antennas. So, yep, they just keep hooking this stuff on. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of work. So there was something going on right here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the way that's bouncing or not. On the inside there's a little bit of sealant damage, so somebody obviously mucked some more crap on there. But we'll be done with all that nonsense once we get the roof on. Did the same thing over here. Put all that caulking up in the front of the air conditioner. Like you said, I'm not a proponent for it. I do have a rip awning topper right there. Then they got this rail here. I definitely don't like that rail. That one's even higher than that one. That water's going to stay up on the roof. We want that water off. This is the way Georgetown mounts these things, these awnings. See them? And that's just not cool. So all that water, it gets trapped in here. So we're going to elevate these. I'll elevate it and put it up on a rail, and then the water can go back down into the gutter down here like it should. And we'll be done with that silliness there. So that looks like about us right there. I don't know if you can see that moving. That's obviously an issue right here. That's fluffy. You can see all that fluff. What are we going to find up underneath here? Or how bad? That's why, you know, when we do these, if you're saying, hey, you know, if you're going to come our way, we appreciate it for sure. This fella, I think he came all the way from Wisconsin, this coach did. But all that said is I don't know what I'm getting into until I open it up. I know I'm going to have to redeck it, but I don't know quite to the extent of the damage that's underneath this thing. So that throws us off. Where, you know, some people think we don't run by a calendar like, yeah, we'll get you in on this day or this week. We don't know what goes on from one to the next, so you know, it throws everything off. So we just call it a board. You know, we'll put you on the board, and as soon as I'm done with this one, you know, we've got another one over there, but we'll get another one in. That's how it works, and when it's done right. So I don't want anybody mad at us for sure, but I want to make sure I'm giving everything my full attention without somebody behind this customer breathing down my back saying, hey, I'm supposed to get in there. You know, I'm not going to cheat somebody who drove all the way from Wisconsin for a quality job because I got someone else breathing down my back saying, hey, get me in. You said I'd be in on this day or that week and have me done. I can't give you an actual start date, and I can't give you an actual completion date. We've had this one, he brought it down a while ago, and it's been in our storage building because of all the leaks it's got. So we do offer free storage. If you've got a coach that's got some damage to it and it's sitting in your yard with a tarp on it, if you do a work order with me, I'll store it in my other building for you. So, and we don't charge for that. That's nobody else does that. Nobody's going to put it undercover for you. They want more damage to happen. So this way, when you have more damage, oh, you know what, we couldn't get to it, but gee whiz, we had some torrential downpours. Now you need a whole ceiling, you know. But had you stored it, probably not. But anyhow, that's just something we do. All right, let's get this thing apart, and I'll show you mo. All right, so you can see all this caulking. It's actually stuck to itself, if that makes sense, because it's been all blobbed, right? But look how shiny this is. This is real shiny. You can almost see a reflection down there. This stuff doesn't stick. All I did was just make that little cut right there. But I mean, it'll just peel. See? It's not stuck. It's stuck to itself, if that makes sense, right? I know. That's the only way I can explain it. That's it. Can't explain it any better. Just follow along. Okay? It's not stuck. So I'm sure I got some issues. I'd be surprised if I don't have issues underneath here. We're gonna find out. Maybe they got lucky. Sounds solid. I like that. Let's see. It's just not coming right up. This all just came up one big piece right there. Okay. It's all loose. Doesn't want to stick to plastic. Like I said, it's stuck to itself, but it's in that corner a little bit. But that'll come right out. I know I have a knife right there. But what I'm saying is that you would know, like if it was stuck, I'm still trying to show you the clarity, like the reflection off of this thing. But I think you understand what I'm saying. There it goes right there, see? Well, it's not stuck. These things have to be primed. You know, if you're tech or this RV person working on your camper, if you ask them, hey, what kind of primer do you use? If you don't know the answer to that, you need to find somebody else. That's for sure. Because this is just standard procedure. If you don't know that caulking doesn't stick to plastics, you know, then you need to find someone else to work on your vehicle. Okay, so I got to show you. This roof it's called ply foam. So they got this solar on here. Watch this. You see that? I don't know if this end is loose. Hey, that's all. They just screwed down. There's just 1/8" plywood. So here, I'll go over here and show you what ply foam is. You're going to see it again when we tear all this stuff up. We don't want to screw down to that. I hate to see that thing come off, bust through somebody's windshield. This is ply foam. So, well, this was the skylight, so he lucked out. No damage here. That's awesome. But this is foam. They just put an aluminum frame in here, so you can have something to screw to. But this is foam. But this is all the roof is. That little thin piece of acrylic, and then there's a thin piece of luan right here. That's it. That's not nearly strong enough. The rest underneath the rest of this. So from here. From here, this is a ceiling foam, and then you have that. That's it. That's all that's holding that thing on. I don't endorse that at all. We're going to put steel plates in there so it has something stronger than that little. Looks like that probably that 5 mil. But that's what I want to show you. I don't endorse it. I see it all the time. These guys just willy-nilly putting them there, and then they put some booger underneath it, and a lot of times there's issues with it, like it'll rot. And we're gonna go find out. This stuff looks deceptive. It just tear right out of there, and someone's already got another layer on there. But obviously I haven't got it all loose. I just did a couple of relief cuts. Look at all that rot in there. The thing is all rotted away. See? We'll take it off. You'll see more. So that's not a good idea. And then water gets in there. That's not the right way to do a mount. You can feel this too. I'll rip this up and give you a show. But like I said, when you see, you'll see it all anyways. But I'm just trying to move the camera along, I guess. But all that booger that they had on there. Look at how rusty that screw is. Look at this one. It's all like deteriorated to the point where it can you recognize the threads? Oh. Look at those, how rusted out. You see that one inside there? All rusted. All right, this is your D-lam right here. So, the way plywood works is plies. The plies have grain in them. You see the grain going this way? Look at the grain going this way. One goes this way, one goes that way. And when you buy plywood, you'll see it'll say 4-ply, 3-ply, 5-ply, whatever. And that's how many orientations and plies there are that are making up that sheet. Okay? That's how that works. So, and when these plies separate like that, that's called delamination, because it's laminated or glued together, and now it's not, so it's delammed, right? All right, school's over. That just popped up right there after I got this solar panel. I just lifted it up, and like I said, I hate seeing that there because it makes you nervous. So like I said, if you know, it was already rotted. Imagine that thing, a wind catching it the right way and just pulling it off, and you're driving behind this guy, you know. And there are people that do this stuff, and they call themselves techs. They call themselves, you know, RV guys, and this is what they're doing. So you gotta know who's you know, doing the work. And it's a shame because, I mean, how do you know? You don't know. You assume you hire somebody that they know what they're doing. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anybody who does their job right. Not one person. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube. I've seen them even out in California. There's another guy out there, and you know, I've watched him do some stuff, and he's doing the same thing that the RV industry does, which is wrong. And he's supposed to be a specialist of some sort. Not too special to me. So, let's tear some more up. We got a little sag right here. I can see that. I don't know if you can see the way this roof is dropping in there. So that tells me that's compromised for sure. And I'm guessing I'm going to have some sealing issues here. So this is one of the things that, now that I can see this, a spray-on roof isn't going to solve this problem. A spray-on roof, they're going to, if you're lucky, they'll tear it up and maybe they'll fix the decking, okay? I'm sure they're not going to go over rotted wood. But they're going to charge you a real good premium for that as well. That's for sure. Last I knew, they were getting like $250 per sheet for a sheet that costs like less than $20 at Home Depot. Anyhow, once they, you know, if this was rotted like this, that's all they're going to do. They're going to put the air conditioner back the same exact way. And what causes this air conditioner to fail and why this damage is here is because I'll bet the gasket's bad. And that's why someone slobbered all this in the front. And they figured, oh, we're going to stave it off instead of just fixing and getting, you know, obviously the gasket. But not too many people are going to do this. I just watched a check on I don't know, I think it was Facebook or YouTube or something like that. And the guy was showing how to clean the coils. He didn't even pop the gasket. He's a tech. And he didn't even pull the whole thing out, clean it, flush it. All he did was spray some non-rinse crap in there. But all that stuff, all those contaminants are going to get down in the coil, and then it plugs up the drain, the actual drain. And then there's a port underneath here. So you got a drain tray right here for the evaporator. And the way this works is the air gets pulled up through the evaporator, and then there's a blower that sends it back down. So it's doing this cycle, right? Well, if you just spray some stuff on there, and you're not cleaning out that tray, all that dust and everything that's in your coach is getting pulled back up, get recycled, gets into the evaporator coil, which eventually gets down into your tray, the drain tray, which plugs up the portholes. And so that's what that guy showed. Now, I was really blown away with that. Like, so he charged that person whatever. I don't know. I hear these prices are outrageous. But my point is that I don't know what it is that people just don't want to do a thorough job anymore. And I just really, I know I get animated sometimes, but I hate seeing people pay twice for work that should have been done because they're hiring somebody who should know more than they do. And they trust it. How would the average person is going to know to probably check the tray? The average person isn't going to know to check the ports. Now, when I take these off, I'm going to do a video on how to do it. I've done on them all the other videos. If this is the first one you've seen, I wash out all these air conditioners because I know these techs don't do their job. So, and I don't want anybody up here monkeying around on the roof if they don't have to. So I clean it out myself and just get it done. So, but that's what causes it. So going back to a spray and roll on roof, you get it all sprayed. They're going to put it down the same way. And they keep saying, lifetime warranty, you'll never have leaks. That is baloney. the product that they put down may be lifetime. And the way you can figure this out for yourself, not my word for it, is go read line item number 5 in the warranty, and it will say air conditioner leaks are not covered. Well, then I guess your roof's going to leak. They already got that disclaimer in there. We're going to put these up on curbs. You won't have that issue. There's no way water can get in it the way I designed it. It isn't going to happen. So, all right, well, let me get some more of this off and show you some more crap, so you can see all the rot we got going on. Look at all that debris. See all this debris up underneath the AC? All that gets caught around that gasket, and that's what causes the gaskets to deteriorate. That's why you need to have the air conditioners and things. You need to have that elevated up off the roof line on the curb. That's what you need to have done. So when that, again, if it fails, it doesn't look like it, well, there is aluminum frame in there, but I mean, you can see, depending on how it's parked and so forth, but I mean, you can see all the damage over there as well. The solar was way back there, so that's not solar damage. So, but we'll get it all apart. Here's the back. There's the rear AC. Same thing. You can see all that debris gets in there. Looks like somebody tried literally gluing the gasket to the roof. So that's not really a good idea. There, you can see all that in there. So this is what we got. All rotted. These leaks, they come from somewhere, right? So it's coming from over here. On this part was the solar, and then that part down there, that was from the air conditioner, and then it looks like the refrigerator. All these penetrations are where you get your leaks. That's why you need to have these curves. We kind of, well, we got to clean all this up too. We'll get some old gill on this. And fill all this up. Even everything up underneath there is all rusty. That's actually a piece of metal, so that's all rusty. They just use that to band the foam together, or where the plywood would break. See how that's a break in the plywood? That's so they marry together in case the foam is off. All right, well, that's our mess. Let's get to cleaning her up. All right, so we got all the garbage off of here, and the other problem that I saw, didn't have too much of this back air conditioner, but I had a funny feeling down the road we would. So we added a truss on each side of these. The rest of this feels pretty good, but over the air conditioners, when you're going down the road and it's kind of bouncing like this, that kind of stresses stuff out, and then it starts causing the sag. The other issue that started this and propagated this was that bad gasket. So we did the same up here. So once we get all these in, we had some wires here. You can see we put these protective plates over it. You can see the wires, of course. And then we foamed it back in. This is a foam adhesive. So now it's bonding back into this foam as well. Plus there's glue on the ceiling for the truss. So everything's all glued together. So we're not going to go back. They had glue on here. We're going to put some 3/8 plywood. We got enough room to get up underneath there. And some folks ask me, what's the heaviest, the most you can put on? A lot of that is determined by this cap, the gap underneath there. Like, you couldn't possibly get a piece of 3/4 because then you'd be stressing it out. Everything wouldn't fit proper. So would you be able to get 1/2 inch? Maybe, with a lot of aggravation trying to get it under there. You may have a potential for cracking it, especially over in the corner here. 3/8 is going to fit fine. 3/8 is going to be more than strong enough. So that's where we're going, 3/8. And then what else did we do? Let's see if we got that done. I believe we did. We were supposed to. We're going to put there should be some plate for the ladder. So here's the ladder. So here's a plate right here. There's already one there. We'll probably clean that up for sure. Take that off of there, maybe. At least clean it, sand it down or something. Put some, we can put some, we'll take this crap off too. We'll put some brush converter on there. That's what we'll do on that. Then we're gonna have to get, right in here somewhere, we're gonna, where this solar was, we're gonna need to get a couple pieces of metal And then we'll put decking over it. Now we have something strong. We're going to glue everything all together, so now you got something to really bite into when you go to get the solar mounts down on to the roof deck. So that's about us. So that's what we're going to do, get some decking going. Like I said, get some of these plates in here and get some decking. Well, we got the roof deck. It's all glued down. So we use a foam adhesive that glues it all down, and we sanded everything down too. Oh, that looks nice and tight. Looks really good. So we may not even need any strips going across here. But what we're doing right now is we glued these down. These are the shoulders, glued them down as well. And that's what we're doing now. You can hear it over there. We're stapling them all down. So everything gets glued and fastened and glued and fastened and so forth. So that's where we're at. Once we get this down, we should be able to get a roof on it, the membrane. All right, so driver's side is already glued. And you can see all the glue on here. And you can see all the glue on there. You can see all that sheen. That's the way a roof cement works. It's a contact cement. A lot of times you may see some campers going down the highway and the roof is kind of puffing up. Well, that's because in the RV industry, they don't want to spend the extra time nor money to glue the sheet. They just do the deck. And it's a contact cement. So it's not really getting the bond that it's supposed to have. You can see everywhere, earlier when I showed, the joints were actually pretty tight, but we still put our little strips on here. So we put those on, got the shoulders on. Then we obviously did the shoulders right here. And we got another piece of the back. This will get all cut off, that's why it's not glued down there. But we're ready to roll this and start getting this roof assembled. And here are the units. We're gonna wash them out. So, what happens is this is the area that is down in the cabin. Air comes up through here, goes through your evaporator, gets blown back down with this squirrel cage. Okay, you can see all this dust, lint, and everything else. So I watched a video on Facebook. This tech is showing how to just spray this off with a no rinse cleaner. Here's the problem. Where does all this go? Where does all of it go? It's going to go down into this tray. This tray right here is what catches the water, the condensation, and then it goes through that port right there. There's another one on the other side. But the other thing you want to watch for is the distortion in, okay, someone tried to caulk this down. I showed that already. And then the gasket's compromised. That should have been replaced. So my beef, gripe, whatever, with this tech is he's saying to just spray that down. Well, when that goes down inside there, that can clog that port. And not all of them are this size. So different units have different size ports. That one's got a pretty good size port. Not all of them do. Some of them are smaller. They can get clogged real easy. So now you spray this product on. When you spray it on, it goes down, all this gets down, it clogs the tray, and it can clog that port. It will get filled up with water. This tray will get filled up with water. When it does, when this is spinning, it's pulling the air. So now it's going to pull that water through here, and it's going to spit it back down into your cabin. And then people say, hey, I've got a leak. So now, you call this guy back, and you say, hey, I've got a leak. He's already charged you to clean it. He's already charged you to clean it. Now he's going to come back out and go, oh yeah, your drain ports are clogged there. Charge you a service fee and yet another charge to do the work that he should have done in the first place. So he was a tech. He should have taken this off, checked that air conditioner gasket to make sure, because those gaskets fail. And when they fail, they will ruin a roof. Absolutely ruin a roof and a ceiling. So he should have checked that as a precaution, because the person called him out to do the, I'm guessing, unless he was working somewhere with a quick flip type trailer, camper trailer sales, I don't know. But that's the right way to do it. And that's what a lot of these guys do. They just come up and clean it and they spray the crap on there. You got some right here too. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's plenty in there too. So again, here's the issue, right? You just spray that stuff on there and you walk away, that's not going to clean it out. I got a leaf in here, right? You got all sorts of debris down inside. Look at all this. This all needs to be washed and cleaned out the right way. So these techs are double charging, and this is what they do. This is why, you know, techs are just too expensive, and people don't want to do a thorough job. So here's another one. So we're going to replace these gaskets because they're a mess. But that tech isn't doing that customer right if he was doing a customer's job on there. And all we don't use anything fancy. All we're using is, what is this, Great Value, Walmart. That's all we're doing. We're going to soak that down, let it get in there. That's all we're doing. I'll get it in there everywhere. So we're just going to take a hose. We're going to let this get in there. We've got a brush. We'll brush it real easy. We want to get that. Just let it soak in. Get real close. Let that foam right up and get rid of some. This is all you have to do. Anybody can do this. This is definitely not a hard task. But I highly, highly, highly recommend you take that unit off and check that gasket. Because if that gasket is compromised, and what we're looking for in the gasket is you want to make sure that the gasket is even. What that means is how thick it is. See if I can hold this and hold the camera. Thank you. See how thick it is here? And then you come around here. See how thin it is? There's a difference in that gasket. So the gasket's compromised. Somebody has been trying to pull this down and they over-torqued on one side. These need to be torqued down. You don't squash them down so much that you can't tighten them anymore. That's not the way you do a gasket. So we're going to obviously replace this guy. It's missing anyways on this one, of course. But you know, you want to make sure, and somebody glued this down to the roof like that. And again, you can get some issues with that. And these are the things you want to check because they get very costly. This is the advantage to putting them up on a curb. When they're up on a curb, you get that much more room for these to drain properly. So we're going to just rinse it out, and then we're going to flush the whole thing. We're going to wash all the leaves out. We're going to wash everything out. Get this thing clean, you know. And that's just something that we do. They're already, we took them off. Here's the way I look at this. We already took them off. They're sitting on the pallet. I pick them up with a fork truck, bring them out, rinse them out. It's not that hard. It's going to probably take me maybe 20 minutes to do this, right? So I would rather get this done for my customer. So now I don't have to worry about a tech trying to get up and monkey around on the roof. It's already been done. It's already been done. They don't even have to get on there. Just, you know, so that's why we do all this. We try to do as much as we can for folks and get everything done so they don't have any issues. So they don't leave here and go, hey, my air conditioner for some reason is not, you know, is freezing up. Well, yeah, it was dirty. Oh, what the heck? It was right here in our face. Let's wash it. So that's what we're going to do. So we got the hose. We got a brush. And then we're going to flush that out. And if you're looking at it like this, is where your frost sensor goes in. Okay, it's basically a temperature frost thing that goes in there, and it just plugs into the evaporator. So that's why that's kind of just formed like that. And that's it. So we take the. You turn the water on? Yeah, I guess so. So that's all we're going to do. And what I try to do is I want to see it come out the other side. And then I'm going to see if I can get the hose around. I'm going to get this. I want to make sure all that down there is all clean. Then we come back around this way. And I want to push it back the other way too. I want to make sure we get all of this clean. And I'm trying to make sure that water can get through like that. See how it's pushing through? It's hard for me to get down inside here. The way on the angle here, but I'm going to flush out as much as I can and get that clean. I want to make sure those ports are, like I said, I want to get all these leaves out. I want all this stuff out of here. Look, all this pollen. See all this? All this stuff will start to get your components, all this debris and everything will get these components to heat up more, and then they fail. Like I said, it doesn't take but a few minutes to do it the right way. But these techs, I don't want to do that. I'll probably post this little video on here if I can go find it. But it just really baffles me, and it's a shame because folks don't know the difference. They call a tech up and they go, hey, can you clean my air conditioner? And they come out and they squirt it like that, and then they're out of there and they charge you $300. That's insane. So here's this guy that I was talking about. So all he's going to do is just spray some of that stuff on there, right there. Didn't clean the tray out. Oop. Didn't clean the tray out. Put it back together. $300. Thank you, bye. That's not a thorough job. Not at all. Alright, so we got the new gasket on here, and we're going to put a new one on here. Cleaned everything out, flushed it all out. It's all clean now. It only takes a few minutes. So this gasket, some of them are, basically they'll have a slice in here in the corners and they fold them. So it's one long piece, they make a slice, they fold it, and then try to glue it all together. This is one stamped out one. I like these ones. These are called Cinder, like cinder block, but with a Y. Cinder with a Y. And you can find them on Amazon. I like those a lot. They're probably a little bit more money, but you know, it's an air conditioner gasket. I think you'd want to have a quality one. So we're going to replace this one, and like I said, everything else is washed. We're done. The only other thing we're going to do is in the back right here, when we were flushing all this out, we noticed water was collecting, so we just probably want to get if we can get another hole in here for more drainage. That's about all we're going to do to it. Other than that, it's ready to go, and we'll put the cover back on. So the cover, this one has a foam cover. Some of them have metal covers, but if you watch some of the other videos, you'll see I try to show these on every video that we do, how to clean them out. So you could refer back to a different one, I guess, to see if there's a different air conditioner on there. But they're not hard, is my point. They're not hard. If you're up on a roof and you're going to do this, you definitely want to have, like, just spend a couple dollars and go to the, I don't know, maybe the dollar store or whatever. Go get yourself a cheap rubber mat and a welcome mat or something like that, so you can set this on the roof. And obviously you're setting it away from the hole. But you want to set it off to the side there so you can wash it. You won't, be able to do that without obviously getting water back in. So in the scenario that I showed you on the on that AC that guy was doing, where you just sprayed it and then that was it, okay, that's not the way you do it. But he couldn't get out there and actually spray it, because if he did, he'd send water down here. So my point is that he should have actually gone inside, loosened this up. He's a tech, he knows how they come apart. So he should have taken it off, set it off to the side, washed it like I'm saying, and then set it back down, check the gasket and everything, make sure it was done. That's the right way to do it. Don't half-ass it. But what's happening now is, like I said, he's going to go back. That person's going to have an issue with the drain being clogged, and he's going to go back and double charge them. That's what they do. These are all their slick tricks. I definitely think techs are, really overcharging people for their service calls, and they'll charge as much as a shop. As a regular shop, like a brick and mortar type shop building, they charge the same rate, and then they hit you with a service call to come out. So, you got to be mindful of that. If you're handy enough to do this, it's that easy, like literally. So, and then you just torque those back down. So when you put those bolts back in, you're not tightening this one, tightening that one, tightening. You're not doing that. You're getting this one snug, go to this one, go to this one, and you keep rotating all the way around. And what you're going to see is the gasket on the inside. Lift this up for me. And if you want to put some blue thread lock, you can. But what you're going to see is this thing bulge out, kind of like this. And when it does, that's good. It'll kind of bulge out. You're done. Leave it alone. It's sealed. It's literally that easy. So let's get this finished up. Like I said, we just drilling a couple of holes, and this thing's going back up on the roof. This is our Georgetown, ready to go. We're able to get it out. So here's our little card right here, little logo, August of 25. All this all heat welded. Everything's all heat welded in here. So you don't have to put any self-leveling. Anybody can follow behind us to replace an air conditioner, replace a vent, replace a skylight. You can do it all yourself if you want. So the material is a 60 mil commercial grade roof membrane TPO. It's a TPO, which is a thermoplastic. So it's the same exact material you're going to find on a hotel, office building, library, restaurant. Same exact material, same exact installation. So you can see we've got everything elevated up on a curb. And that's the purpose of a curb. A curb is this box. A lot of people call them boxes or risers, but they're called curbs. And those little skirts that go around them, they're heat welded right back to the main roof. So there is no reason for you to have to use any self-leveling. It's done. It's all welded together. So the same on this air conditioner. We got this one here, and this front piece is what's called a counter flash. All the curbs I designed, they all have counter flash, and there's different styles and kinds of counter flash. So this is a counter flash right here. All the curbs have them. So when the water comes across, it's going to hit up here. It's going to get redirected. It won't be jumping. It's going to minimize erosion effect. That's what it does. But we still have water coming down, and when you have water coming down, there's a foam gasket up underneath there. I don't want the water to get blown back in there from any rain or anything, so we put that counter flash on there to make it go down below this one and wash out. So it's got that little gap at the bottom so the water can wash right out. Put a couple of stands on there, it's done. So that just gives them some balance. That's it. You see that we washed them out. We got them all cleaned out. Put back in here. And the same with the vents. You don't want to put caulking. These were caulked in there or something. We can't get that off there without really doing a lot more damage to it. So that's the best we can get it. And then the curb, what we got here, this big old curb design is just a little bit different than some of the other ones I did. So on some of the other ones I have done, I dig into the roof and I put a piece of ductwork in there, and then I box it all out. This is all boxed out too on the inside. I don't know if I showed all that, but there's aluminum all inside there. So when, and I'm going to say when because these don't last forever, when it fails, it won't get into the curb or into the roof or anything. It's going to drip right down into the shower. That's the whole point to it. But some of them I do a little differently. This one I wanted to make because I thought it'd be easier for everybody to do it, because I can build everything, do everything right down on the table, bring it up, and then we screw them down, and then we can just weld everything. So this is a solar fan. That's an intake right there. And especially in the colder times of the year, you'll have some frost and dew on the lens. It's not only on here, it's actually on the inside. If I were to lift this up, on the inside, there's also the frost and dew is in there. So when the sun comes up, it's going to evaporate this off. But what's up underneath on the inside, it will not do that. It can't, the UV light can't get in there to do anything. So what it does is it diffuses it down into condensation, and then it'll just drool from the inside down. That's why a lot of people have some issues around their skylight, because it's a condensation issue. So all that said, this solar fan will kick on when the sun comes up to evaporate this, and it'll pull the air from there, and there's a trough in here. The way I designed this, it's got another trough in there, and it pulls the air, and it just does this cycle. Just like that. And it'll probably keep this cooler too. I know a lot of people complain about how hot these get, so that should pull some of the hot air out. And this is just a regular cheap, Amazon fan. So I think they're like 40 bucks or something like that. But they seem to work pretty good. And you can take the inner lens out and maybe strike a match or put a candle on maybe, and you should be able to see it being pulled in that direction, the smoke or something. Something like that. Maybe an incense burner, I don't know. You get the idea. You can check it that way, because they're really quiet. You can hardly hear them. So everything else is done right here. Even like this here, there's a foam pad up inside here. I put it up inside so you don't get bees or anything trying to build a nest in there. There's one that I put in, and then the factory gave me one as well. So I just don't want anything to even try to make a nest. But this one is right up my fingertip right there. And these are for your plumbing. These, if the plumbing pops off, there's no worry. Boom, there it goes. Tree branch took it off. And I've had some of them pop. These are cheap too. If water gets down in here, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going down into a holding tank. And I doubt even on the heaviest rainstorm you're going to fill up your holding tank, because you don't have it. So you just buy another one. So this is a lot different than the way they do them with the RV industry. So the RV industry, they got that bottom plate there and a rubber gasket goes over it. And that usually leaks down inside. It'll get drooled down the pipe and it'll get in there and rot everything out. So another one right here. And then like I said, everything else is all, heat welded together. And I even did the same one for the TV antenna. So that's us. So now I'm going to show you, I'll walk around the other side. I'm going to show you that what we did with that solar. So what we did is we put plates inside the roof. So now I can bolt these on. That's how we did it. See? There's a plate inside there. Before there was nothing. So we put a plate in there. We also put 3/8 plywood on this, so it makes it a little thicker as well, but we did put steel plate in there. And then these go down into the frame of the coach. These ones do. They go all the way down into the frame. The reason why we elevated this was sitting on the roof. And the reason we did is because water will build up. If you remember when we started this video, there was a lot of rot right in this area, and that's generally what it's due to. It's trying to hold the water back. Let's not do that. Let's let it get off the roof. Let's let it go into the gutter, and away she goes. Easy peasy. No problem at all. So, and that's it. So everything else come out pretty good. The warranty on the roof, on a commercial end, this is a 20-year roof system. So a 20-year roof membrane is the way they determine that is from a testing of commercial products they put it through accelerated testing for like radiation, they put it through, or UV light, shall I say, maybe not necessarily radiation, hail damage, wind damage, you know, all this criteria, extreme cold, extreme heat, all this stuff. And that's how they come up with how many years this thing will last. So, and that's on a commercial level, saying that, hey, you know, this thing being out on a commercial roof, day in and day out, day in and day out. And campers don't generally see that. That's why I tell folks they're probably going to get more than, you know, they're definitely going to get more than 20 years out of this. You know, they'll get something like 20, even 25 years. So that's a good long time. You don't have to do anything to it. All you do is just wash it. It's real simple. Just wash it a couple of times a year would be good. And that's it. So all this caulking that we use, we got 2 strikes of caulking on here. All around is 2 strikes. We do that on purpose. If you've ever operated a caulking gun and you start going along with the squeeze, then you may hear a pop or a crackle. That's an air bubble you just pushed in. So my thought is, now these do rack and twist and flex. Everybody knows that. And I would hate to see an air bubble kind of surface up and open up, and now I potentially got a leak. So my thought is, what if I put another strike on? What are the chances of having one air bubble land on top of another? Probably slim to none. So that's why we do it. 2 strikes on there, and then we seal. Every screw is sealed inside. Every one of these screws, when we put them down, that's important. Every single screw is sealed. So, and then this type of insert, you can see it's got a groove in there. It sits in that little rim right in there, and that just kind of falls right in. So I'll get that in there. Can't do it with holding the camera. So again, so the warranty on this is real simple. We'd like to see it once a year. You bring it back once a year, and we inspect it for free. That's how easy it is. If you don't want to bring it back, we can show you how to inspect it. So it's pretty easy on that end of it. But if you bring it back to us and we inspect it every year, if there's something wrong, something happened, something that we should have caught, then we'll cover the collateral damage to it. You know, we'll fix everything. But that would be, you know, let us see it every year. Sometimes you folks don't know exactly how to look for things like we do. And if you did, you probably would just put the roof on yourself. So, you know, granted, these are great roofs. I'm not going to have any issue with them. Most of the time, it takes like 15, 20 minutes. Which to just overlook everything, make sure all the caulking is right, make sure we'll check all your lenses, the welds, all that stuff. We don't have an issue, but I don't take things for granted. Everybody will tell you should have your roof inspected at least once a year, and we're saying we are willing to do it for free. So other than that, we appreciate y'all watching. We don't sell anything here, not as of yet anyways. We don't sell anything, and we don't quote on social media, so just give us a call. We'll be glad to help you out with your project if you've got one. I want to thank the customer for coming all the way that he did. I believe he came all the way down from Wisconsin for us to do this, and this is a long way for him to come to just have a roof done. But we're the only ones that do this roof system, so there's not anybody else who does these roofs because I designed them. So my goal is to get them done right, so you don't have any issues with them again, period. Be done with it. So. All right, well, like I said, we thank you for watching. We see you on the next one. So I shut the camera off, and I forgot to tell you what we got for roofing. This is a commercial grade TPO. I told you that. It's a 60 mil. That's how thick it is. So not only do we take you out of a RV membrane, take you out of that, which is really cheap, and make bring you into a commercial roof. A commercial roof starts off at 45 mils. This is 60, so I even bring you up one more level. These are our common colors: tan, white, and gray. There's all contact info But this is a structured membrane. That's what this is. This is a weave that's built into the product. You probably could see some of those little squares in there if I hold the light just right. So anyhow, that's the product that's on there. Real durable product. You're not going to cut it, rip it, or anything easily. That's for sure. It's going to take a little bit of work. So, and it'll always come back this way if you just wash it a couple times a year. Package. So in our care package, we have caulking. We got primer. We have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch peel and stick patch. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, it will simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. So what you want to do, and it's raining out. Right now it's raining, you're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you're trying to do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. Just squeeze, squeeze. You want to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Put some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're going to go up there, and that's going to be cured looking like that. So we're going to take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just going to obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're going to do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. What are you talking about, man? Nope, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. This is a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fingers, fat fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape. That's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. There it is. Now you got the film. You take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back,
once you get it all primed, then you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. If it doesn't all sit in there, you can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of, there's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, the whole purpose of it is this part here, this part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this, because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch, and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.